Hello everyone and welcome back to another Godzilla Battle Line video, and today we have a tier list. Now, last season, I got the most flack out of any... I usually get flack on all my tier lists, but I got the most flack last season because I was told my tier list was out of touch. So, as per request, we are going entirely from scratch. I wanted to make this a stream, but I haven't really been able to find time to stream, but I found maybe about an hour or two to kill on a video. So, completely tier list from scratch. I have my tier list from last season on my other monitor, so I know where some of these characters were last season, so I know where not to put them kind of, this season, or just like a frame of reference. And we're just going to go down the list in order, the way we normally do, all the way to the last 3 units. These are a unit tier list, not leaders, so I'm not going to be talking about any of these characters as a leader. And also, it's worth noting that for Mothra, the new 61 Mothra, I don't have a render of her in the Imago form. It doesn't exist, and since this is an effect piece, technically, I can't put it in studio mode either and switch modes and take a screenshot like that. So, I'll talk about Mothra 1991 when we get to Mothra Cocoon. Just know there's not an independent render for her. If there is, eventually, I will put it on this list. Alright, yeah, we're going to go down the list. Some things on here I think are going to go up because of certain combos and whatnot, but I am going to place the airbase probably in the C tier. I think airbase is a D tier unit. If you pair it with Gamera 67, it's a C tier. It's probably closer to the top end of C tier. I mean, I think you make an argument for it at the bottom of B. I'm going to put it at the bottom of B. I'm going to put the airplanes on the bottom of B. Anguirus, not really a super good tank anymore. It's just kind of falling flat. I mean, maybe I would even put him in the D tier at this point. Where did I have him last season? I don't even see him on the list, even though I know for sure Man, maybe he's not on the list. What the heck? Why wouldn't he be on here? Whatever. I'm gonna put Anguirus in like the at this point, honestly, I think he goes in the D tier. I think he's cheap. I think he's nice, but I think long term you're never gonna see him in the arena at all, ever. Batra's a solid, I don't know, B tier still. I mean, I don't even know if Batra's as good as the choppers anymore. Well, the chopper's really good only if you haven't given her. I put the Batra here. Batra's pretty solid in C. I'll put the Batra Imago, or Batra Imago in C, Batra Imago in C, Batra Larva. Batra Imago in B, Batra Larva in C. Because, honestly, without some more changes, this Batra's really not going to see any play. And I'm going to do the same, honestly, for Biollante. I feel like Biollante isn't really an A-tier unit anymore. We have tons of ways to get rid of her attack up, and she doesn't hit aerials, and, even if you place her in the water, there's just so many ways around her now. She was a premier unit. She's still, I think, really strong if you're a new player, but definitely fallen out of favor. Stealth Bomber is in D for sure. Standard Burning Godzilla is in C. He's not very good. The new Burning Godzilla is way better, but this guy, he needs some kind of juice. Maybe his charge meter has to be faster or something. I'm gonna put Desghidorah. I think he belongs in S+ tier. But I think maybe I will put him in the S. I think he's starting to get a little crept out. He has really good stats. He has really good piercing. He's got that stun on spawn with the burning. He has a lot of really good things going for him. And you can reliably get a really high Desghidorah if you play a really long time. I personally would put him in the S+ tier. I use him every day. He's the ace on my team. I love Desghidorah. I'm willing to concede that there are a lot of units that are better than Desghidorah. So I think I'm maybe going to reserve S+ units for characters that are better than Desghidorah, if that makes sense. What are they called? The Destroyers, the Evolved Destroyers, I think are like this. I think that Destroyer is a B unit. I think if you put Destroyer in a Gamera 67 deck, he's probably an A unit. They're just not seeing a whole lot of play right now. There's a lot of AoEs between piercings and actual AoEs and fucking Baggins Lightning. So yeah, there's just a lot of ways around them. Same with the Destroyer Larva, they go there. Dimension Tide is still really good. I'm going to put it in the S tier. I don't think Dimension Tide is going in the S+. Dimension Tide is still a phenomenal combo piece to pair that out with any kind of explosion. Really, really solid. Dorats, I'm going to put them in the D tier as well. They just get chopped up really quickly. I mean, you can put them in a Gamma 67 deck and they would go to C tier, but I don't even think that saves them. I think, like, Gamma 67 saves the choppers big time because they had, like, an actual good, like, buff a few months ago, I think it was. I don't remember. Maybe we could put the choppers in C, but C or B for the choppers. I'm undecided. The energy base. Okay, this is going to be maybe a bold statement. I'm going to put the energy base in the D tier. And I'm going to put the energy base in D tier because it's totally obsolete. We don't need the energy base anymore. We have so many cards that increase either your energy that you receive when the game starts, how fast your energy recharges in general during the match, and then how fast your leader ability charges, which I know isn't the same as the energy base, but it's still important. So there's so many ways to manipulate energy in this game right now that I think energy base is completely useless. I think it's unusable schlock right now. Fire Rodan proper, I think, or Fire Rodan 1993 proper is a D tier for sure. I think Fire Rodan 1993 is C tier. Speed boost is good. The flying is good. The range is good. The healing is alright. Stats are power crept. It is not super strong anymore. Even when it was around, it wasn't the primary meta healer. And I think in a world of Void Ghidorah, you would think that Fire Rodan is significantly better. He's really not. He's really just not competing at the level that you would want him to compete. No one in the top 66 are using him. I have not seen them in seasons upon seasons upon seasons. Sunday. I think Sunday's probably in the C tier, realistically speaking. I mean, I feel like placing it higher could be solid, but it's really only good if you had Ultima as your leader. I think then that is like, maybe, you know what, like this. These will probably go in B if you these are all C tier character or C tier effects or pieces, but if you have the particular leader that pairs well with them, I think that they'll go in the B tier. So I'll keep them in the B. At the bottom of B is probably safe. Gamma G7 for the choppers, Ultima for the Sunday. You can get that Sunday out for 1, really, really strong. Giant Octopus realistically is D tier. I really like Giant Octopus a lot. It's one of my favorite units in the game. It's actually a really, really good 2-drop. Just in the meta, it is not working out. Okay, this was a character that I actually got a lot of shit for last season, was Gigan 2004, because I kept him in the S+ tier. I really like Gigan 04. I still think he's really good. I think maybe he's at the bottom of A. I think if you got him, he's still really solid. I think he's just not competing at the level that you'd want him to complete these days, especially because of stun immunes. Mothra 2019 got a significant change. She has the ability to deploy stun immunes, and I think that Scar King overall is a little bit better, or not a little bit, a lot better. I am hesitant to put Gigan in B tier. I'm gonna probably keep him on the lower end of A. I think is probably fair. I think he has just been power crept over the last few months, and now with the stun immunities, it's a little bit harder to use him. Gigan 1972 is just almost unplayable garbage in this meta. In all metas, really. He was C tier for a little while. He's going back in the D tier. Godzilla 2021, probably in the B tier this season. He's definitely better than Des Ghidorah. He is a little difficult to use. There's not a whole lot of, I would say there's not a whole lot of stunners in the meta right now outside of Scar King, but Operation Taba exists now, and Operation Taba is a boosted unit this season. So I would maybe say for the July season of Battle Line, G21 is a B tier unit. If your opponent is running Taba or Scar King, he's like a C tier. I think that's probably safe to say. Old Man Jenkins original. Old Man Jenkins original, I'm sorry. I'm going to put Old Man Jenkins, or I'm going to demote him into the D tier. Maybe the low B tier, C tier. I think that Old Man Jenkins is... Yeah, I'm going to reserve D tier for almost unplayable schlock. C tier, Old Man Jenkins, he is going to get worse and worse for most players the more Godzillas they add to his pool of characters he can become. Yeah, he gives them an additional 5 levels. The 5 levels are not going to exceed whatever levels you have them at after a certain point. So, like, if you have them at level 20 or whatever, I think it stops getting the plus 5 levels. He is a really fun way for new players to try all the Godzillas. He is not good in the meta at all later on. He was really good when he first came out because there's only, like, 3 Godzillas he could become. Now that he can become, like, 6 or 7 of them, it's not worth it. G89 is in D tier. I'm just going to go ahead and move him straight down into D tier. He was C tier last season. He's in D tier right now. Godzilla 89 is not the move. He's a solid leader for new players. Not any better for the arena. He's just not it. It's not happening. A tier is Earth. I might put Earth behind Gigan. I don't know where I'm going to put Earth in the A tier, but Earth is definitely A tier. He suffers a ton from Void Ghidorah. And a lot of the more ranged units this season. He's falling out because he's so slow. If there was a way to increase attack speed, he probably would be really good. Okay. These next 2 units are probably going to be a little bit biased. I'm going to put Ultima proper in the C tier because he has... Or Terrestris in the C tier because he has that healing on spawn. So it's not so bad to evolve him. If you have, like, Rainbow Mothra on your team, it's easier to evolve him. I've been using him all season in conjunction with the other Ultima. I'm going to put the regular Ultima in A tier. This could just be bias because I've been using him all season. I really think snipers are becoming the next impactful meta. Obviously, Void is meta, but, like, think about the long-range characters and how strong they are. I'm going to put Ultima in the A tier. He's probably not going to be super high in the A tier. He was B tier last season. I don't know. I don't know what's changed. I think it's because Rio is kind of out of the way a little bit, but I'm going to put Ultima in the A tier. This could just be bias, but I'm really enjoying him this season a lot. So I'm going to keep using him, put him in there. Hedera is a solid, just D tier. At all. It's easy to evolve, so it's not the bottom of D tier. But regular Hedera is maybe also in the D tier for sure. I think I'm a little harsh with this tier list, but I think I'm trying to be fair and balanced. Jet Jaguar, D tier. Like, there's no and ifs or buts around it. I think I've just been really lenient with Jet Jaguar recently. His pre-evolve form gives you an attack boost, so that's fine. That's gets him into the C tier. The regular one is in D. There's no way he isn't. This Jet Jaguar Singular Point, though, I think Jet Jaguar Singular Point is in... I think he's in the B tier normally. You know what? I'm going to put him in the B tier because he has 4 immunities to attacks, and that's going to keep him alive during a 9-costed Void Ghidorah. He can take 4 of those hits, I believe, so... He's going to stay in the B tier. I think he's really solid. He just doesn't hit air, which is a major problem for him. Kamakura Swarm, they go in the D tier behind Destroy Larva because they can't hit air. Regular Kamacuras, regular Kamacuras, I don't even know. Probably also in the D tier at this point, right? Like, unless you're running a Gamera deck. Well, if you're running a Gamera deck, they'd probably be in the C tier. They're pretty decent body blockers, but, I mean, I really believe they should be in the D tier. Kids is a tricky one this season. I'm going to continue to put Kids in the D tier because it has only one major use right now. It's to counter Void, surprisingly enough. If someone activates Void and you play Kids on your characters and it teleports them, they will totally avoid damage from the Void. But that is a lot of a lot of energy just to counter Void. It's not really a lot, but it's like more than you would want to counter Void. You just play Psychic Force or something at 30 and you'll probably heal out of Void. So that's in the D tier. I'll put King Caesar in the C tier. I've seen a lot of Rush style decks recently for some reason, and he at level 40 is monstrous. He's not obviously the best, but at level 40 King Caesar, even I'm like, I gotta stop that thing. I gotta make sure that thing doesn't hit my guys. King Ghidorah, or Mecha King Ghidorah is probably in the low A tier because they're stun immune, so that's really good right now as well. They're not affected by Taba or Scar King, which is good. You want to see that. Maybe they're at the top. I don't know. I'm gonna put them in the A tier. They're fine. I think this King Ghidorah is not good. I think that this King Ghidorah is just like a big body, and he's solely exists to die. I think he's a C tier. I think his evolution is an A tier, so it kind of works out. And that, you know what, his evolution being an A tier should maybe make this King Ghidorah a B tier, but I think that he plays like a C tier. Kiryu, and then we'll do Kiryu Kai with them. I don't really think that these guys are it right now. I would maybe put Kiryu at the bottom of S and maybe Kiryu Kai, or bottom of A, and put Kiryu Kai in A as well. I don't even know if I would do that. I don't know where to play. They seem fine. They're not really used anywhere. They're going to get chopped up. They can circumvent some things when they enter the battlefield, but realistically, they're being power crept. They both have the Kiryus. I would put the regular Kiryu in B, and maybe the Reg Kiryu Kai in the bottom of A. I feel like that's probably fine, but honestly, I kind of feel like this is the move. Putting Kiryu in C, and then Kiryu Kai in B. Because I don't think that they're very viable right now. Same with Kong 2021, I also don't think is super viable. I almost want to put him in the C tier. Rick the Squirrel's going to absolutely maim me when he sees this, because if you have a really high-level Kong, like, he is really a strong character. I just think in the current meta, he's going to absolutely get bodied. I mean, Pans has a really strong King Kong. But I really don't think that, like, a few people having, like, a level 40 Kong in this meta means that it's, like, good in the meta. I think they just have a really good setup for the Kong. And I'm going to put him in the C tier. I might get shit for putting Kong there, but I'll live. Markalite, no way Markalite is anything other than a D tier unit. M-Boss actually got a really, really good buff last season. I don't know if the M-Boss are maybe better than the air base, but the M-Boss don't get the Gamera boost, I believe. But the base is like 5,000 health. You can make like 3 or 4 more tanks than before. The M-Boss base is really, really solid right now. I used it all season last season. Extremely good, especially if you pair it with the new Burning Godzilla. I put it in the B tier for sure. M-Boss base deserves it. M-Boss regulars do not. M-Boss regulars go into the D tier. Mecha Godzilla 1993 goes into the D tier. He's just alright. Mega Gearus got a pretty decent change to her last season, or maybe the season before that, where her huge AoE circle is it's like way bigger now. I am hesitant to place her somewhere other than the C tier, because she's kind of vanilla outside of all of that. And if, you know what, maybe I'll put her in the B. I'll put her like here in the B tier. I think last season I put her in A because she was rentable. She's not rentable anymore. I think she's gonna go in the B. Bottom of B. Manila is D. There's no way Manila isn't D. He's got a nice stun, but that's about it. Missiles are in D for sure. Mogera, old school Mogera, probably in the C tier somewhere, like right here. Pretty good to get some damage off on your opponent. It digging can avoid Void Ghidorah. It's good for new players who are trying to rush their opponent. And just in rank 66 plus, it's not really going to make a huge difference. Mothra Larva is probably down here with the other evolution units. Pretty easy to evolve, but not super good. But then Mothra Imago proper actually is really good. Mothra Imago proper, I would probably put in the A tier somewhere. Her 10 damage ticks are really solid. She is all around a good character. She's extremely strong in Gamera 67 decks. So maybe I would have put her in B tier, but because of Gamera 67 still being meta relevant, I'll put her in the A tier. I don't know if she's behind Gigan or behind Earth. She's somewhere in the A tier. I don't know. Mothra Leo, not good right now. I've seen a lot of Mothra Leos running around for some reason. I don't know why. Pretty decent in rush decks. Naranga's probably in the C tier as well. I mean, you would think in a meta with a lot of stunners, Naranga would be way better. He really isn't. I couldn't even put him behind these guys. But his invisibility and his stun are really strong. So if you have Naranga, I think he's worth playing, for sure. Maybe if you have a limited amount of characters. Probably if you have Naranga and you're still playing this game, you probably have way more, way better characters in your disposal, for sure. Psychic Chorus is S+ tier. Psychic Chorus is S+ tier this season. Void Ghidorah is really, really strong right now. It's one of the best units in the game. So being able to out-heal Void Ghidorah is extremely important. Psychic Chorus is S+ tier. Maybe Psychic Chorus could be S tier if we don't want to put any effects in the S+ tier. Psychic Chorus can go into... Well, we're gonna end up putting an effect in the S+ tier, believe me. But maybe Psychic Chorus is just in the S tier. It takes a lot of levels to... get it to a point where it's going to out-heal a level 9... Or a Energy 9, level 17... Void Ghidorah, it's going to take some investment, so maybe off the rip it's not so much a strong contender, but it is definitely very extremely viable right now, for sure. I haven't, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, I haven't seen a lot of this in the arena and stuff like that. I haven't seen a whole lot of it. I've seen a decent amount of it, but it is a good way, again, to counter Void Ghidorah. I got to put it in the S tier. It usually floats around the S or S+ tier in these tier lists because it is just general use, really good. As long as Void Ghidorah is in the meta, I think this is going to be really good. This this Rodan is in the D tier for sure. Shin Godzilla Baby is going to be probably in the D tier. This Shin Godzilla will go in the C tier because it's easy to evolve, but it does nothing. And then this Shin Godzilla, realistically, is probably in the B tier. You could maybe make an argument for the A tier. I just think he's getting power crept like crazy. I think he is decently strong. I do not think he is as strong as he used to be, and that's gonna end up coming back to haunt him, I feel. Space Godzilla is good. I think Space Godzilla is probably somewhere in the A tier. Being able to place those crystals is really strong to buff your whole team. They are distractions for stuff like Gigan no 4 and Scar King, and even characters like Final Wars Godzilla Tokyo. If your opponent has a Bagan on a team, he's an absolute liability. Bagan is going to use those crystals as fodder and just chain his lightning through your entire team. That is probably the biggest counter to Space Godzilla, like something in my eye, is Bagan. Oh my god. Bagan is going to run through those crystals with the chain lightning. I mean, even Space Godzilla's Fukuoka can do the same thing, right? So A tier, if Bagan's on the team, probably in the B tier. Super X. Super X is our first unit on this list that has gotten a change this season. This season, Super X had its HP increased by 94.77% and its attack increased by 38%. So, if it hits for 200 on your sheet, since it hits 3 times, that's actually 600. And it had its cost reduced at one point from 5 to 4, I believe. I don't really remember off the top of my head. But we're going to put Super X in the B tier this season. I feel like a lot of people want it in the C tier. I'm definitely going to put Super X somewhere in the B tier. For 4 and for all these boosts, I think it's really solid. Again, I wish it was just a 3 cost like it used to be. That would be way better, especially in this current meta. Super good. Sniping is becoming very relevant, and Super X does it really, really well. So Super X is going to get in the B tier for me. Ultraman is going to go in the C tier. Ultraman is really cool. I like Ultraman a lot. I think he's better than most units in the game. You can't get points for him, and he's probably not going to get a buff anytime soon. If they reverted all of his previous buffs and nerfs to where he was when he launched, he'd probably still be really good, but he has a lot of good things going for him, but his power crap his stats have been power crap. Unmanned Train Bomb's probably going to go in the S tier like it always does, bottom of S, just because it's a really good utility card to wipe out a bunch of low hanging fruit. To get some damage out, you use Ultima as your leader. It's going to be an S+ tier card, so Train Bomb's just all around general use, really good. Really good for killing enemy leaders, especially if you have Kiryu as your lead. Zeton's in D tier. I love Zeton. Zeton's in D tier. Not good. Mephilas in D tier. Mephilas is actually really fucking bad. I would even put him behind Giant Octopus. Probably actually behind most of these guys, honestly. Mephilas is really, really bad. Regular Final Wars Godzilla maybe is in, like, the bottom end of B tier. I mean, regular Final... Maybe I'm putting him in the C tier. I mean, regular Final Wars Godzilla is fine. He's not really making an impact anywhere at this juncture. Maybe he's a B tier. I'll put him, like, here. I think maybe something like this is more accurate. I don't know. It's hard sometimes, you know, when you see a character, you got to base them just on their abilities and their stats, like where they're going. And I know I'm going through a lot of these characters fast, but there's 150 plus characters. There's like 167 or something characters in this game that we got to get through in a video. And if I'm not hanging on one for too long, you can let me know in the comments. But I think some of them just at this point in the meta aren't really worth talking about on this list. Like this one, Eva 01 is a C tier for sure. I think she's with like Ultraman. The Fourth Angel, I think, is a low B tier at this point. I think Fourth Angel is definitely out of the meta. If you want to use an exploding themed deck, he is essential for it, but he's too slow at this point. There's too much range going on. He's not really going to be hitting the way you want him to hit. He used to be one of the best units in the game, and now he is just kind of fodder for some of the better ones. Mechagodzilla 2021. His changes make him really solid. I probably would put him in the B tier. Maybe like this in the B tier at this point. I don't think he's A anymore. I think he just gets jumped too quickly. If you have a high level Mechagodzilla 2021, I think that you could probably use him reliably. And he would be like an A tier unit if you had him at a high level. But for the average player, I don't think that he's going to be worth investing in really a whole lot. GMK got to change this season. GMK had, and all these notes for the season I'm getting from Rick the Squirrel, so shout out Rick. Range and or reach on GMK was not updated with the update, unlike what it said in the blog post. He says Godzilla, the range or the reach, or whatever, I think instead of it actually being the reach was the size of the AoE that he has. Godzilla 2001 had his HP increased by 9.94%. His attack increased by 21.33%, and the on-spawn and on-death damage debuff was increased from 10% or 10% less attack for 10 seconds to 20% less attack for 10 seconds, and I think his AoE got extended. He is also one of the rentable units this season, so I am going to put him in the A tier this season. For this season, GMK is going in the A tier. I think next season he'll probably go back down to B, but he's rentable for July. And he got all these really nice changes. I'm going to put him in the A tier. I think he's really, really solid. 10th Angel. This is the 10th. This is the 4th. I don't fucking remember. Either way, I'm using this one actually in the egg mode a lot. It's really solid. I'll put him in the C tier. I don't think he's totally unplayable, this Angel. I just think that there are better options at this point. You know what? Maybe like here. There's no way he's worse than Biollante. Actually, I don't even think this Kiryu is worse than Biollante. Something like that, maybe. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to place all these characters. Maybe he goes here. Biollante can go here. This guy can go to the top of C. Kiryu will go into, like, the B tier here. I think this is probably fine. Maybe something like that. This is probably fine. I think this is fine. You know what does go straight into D tier, though? This fucker. Mari goes straight to the D tier. The Ava that runs and explodes is probably in the C tier at this point. I think the gimmick is fun. I don't think the stats are super worth it. I should probably go, like, right here, honestly. This Ava is in the D tier for sure. This Ava is in the D tier for sure. I mean, maybe the beast mode Ava is in the C tier, like, right. I mean, literally, like, here. Like, bottom of C. Yeah. Kamen Rider's only one of these fucking guys that is actually even useful in the arena right now, and I would even put Kamen Rider maybe, like, here with Biollante. Or maybe, like, in between the choppers or something. Kamen Rider's pretty solid to jump in and chop up people and get a knockback on. I mean, his stats are getting power crept, but he's pretty viable, honestly, if you have a high-leveled one. We have Kumo Augment. That also isn't very good. He's probably in the C tier somewhere. Kumo Augment was, at one point, the best unit in the game, but now he is almost completely unplayable. Mechagodzilla 74, I would maybe put him in the B tier over some of these other guys. I don't think he is very good. Maybe, you know what? I actually don't think he's worse than Super X. I would put him probably in the lower A tier. I think he has decent stats. I think the one they changed the way his transformation works, I think he was just a little bit better, so we're going to put him there. Chibi Godzilla proper is in the B tier for sure. I think that he is, this isn't the duo. I think that he's fine. I think that Chibi Godzilla is, I think if you're a new player, he's really decent. I think if you're an older player, you might get some use out of him. I think he's alright. I don't think he's horrible. I think he's fine. King Ghidorah 2019 C tier character, S plus tier leader, or S tier leader at this point. I don't really like King Ghidorah 2019 on the field. A lot of people do. I think that he is absolutely getting power crept, or maybe I put him not in the C tier. Maybe I put him like in the B tier, because he's pretty beefy in terms of his health, so he could be really good for 7. I'll put him there for now. I'll put him in the higher end of the B tier. I think that's probably fine. Mothra 2019, this is an S plus character, and people might argue with me on it. Mothra 2019 is so much utility right now. Mothra 2019 had her cost reduced from 6 to 5, her HP increased by 7.18%, and her stun immunity on spawn went from 20 seconds to 40 seconds. Okay. When she attacks, first of all, she has an insanely long range attack, right? She has like a 90 range or something like that. Her reach is 90. I'm looking at it right now. Her reach is 90. She applies a slow effect as well. The slow effect lasts for 7 seconds. And when she dies, she refunds you 2 energy. So it costs 5 to player. If she dies, you get 2 energy back. She effectively is a 3-cost unit, okay? If Void Ghidorah kills her, you get some energy back. If Shin Godzilla Leader kills her, you get some energy back. So you help mitigate some of those things, right? The stun immunity is fantastic for Operation Taba is running all over the meta right now. Scar King, this stops guys from getting stopped up by Scar King. The reach being 90 and there being a 7-second stun, she can make it so characters like Super Godzilla or Earth, Baggin, Final Wars, it takes them way longer to reach their intended target than usual. I'm putting Mothra 2019 in the S plus tier for this season, for sure. She's also rentable right now this season. I think that there's not really a whole lot of units that are much better than her. I think I have mine at level 25 without the rent. I'm looking right now. Mine's level 22. I thought it was more. Mine's level 22 without the rent. I'm going to be using her in my deck even when the rent is over, because she's that good right now. Absolutely a bang-up job that they did improving Mothra. The only thing I would even do to improve her would make her 4 cost. That way she only costs half when she refunds the energy, but I feel like that's overkill. What is this? Not Grand King Ghidorah. Monster X King Ghidorah. The King Kaiser Ghidorah is C tier. It's not good. It's just a really big body. The Monster X Ghidorah, I will put in the B. I don't even know if I want to put Monster X Ghidorah in the B tier. I would put him maybe in the... Maybe like in the low... There's no way he's worse than Batra. I'm going to put the Monster X Ghidorah maybe behind Biollante in front of Kamen Rider. Because he's just easy to evolve. He's pretty good when he's in his lowest stage, and then he evolves. That's it. Godzilla 9099's probably a C tier unit as well. He's not super great in the meta right now. I feel like it's always a bad day when I put someone's favorite Godzilla in the worst spots. Maybe he's in the B tier. I think he's not worse than Mega Gears. Maybe he's like this. Maybe something like this is probably more appropriate for Godzilla 999. Solid, smoke him if you got him kind of unit. I don't think he would see a whole lot of... He doesn't see a whole lot of meta play. You'd think he'd be stronger because of Gamer 67 decks, but really he isn't. Megalon is an incredibly strong unit as well. I almost want to put Megalon in the S tier. I feel like if Gamera 67 is in your deck, Megalon is in the S tier. If he's not in your deck, Megalon's in the A tier. Megalon's really good. That offense down is really strong. He's really cheap. He's got solid stats for a 3 cost. I like Megalon a lot. Megalon will go in the S tier, I think, for sure. Gamera proper, from Rebirth, realistically, man, kind of pigeonholing myself, I feel. I think he's a C tier. There's no way that this Gamera is in the B tier at this point. He's just a really big body. I mean, I guess if you have one at a really high level, he could be really solid, but I don't think that he really realistically makes it into some of the higher tiered rank plays. The newer Gamera, I think, does, for some of them do for sure, but not this guy. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, Gauss. I think Gauss are an A tier unit for sure, easily. They're probably S. You know what? Gauss are S tier. They're A tier if you don't have Gamera 67. If you do have Gamera 67, Gauss is S tier. S tier if Gamera 67, yes. A tier, Gamera 67, no. So, Gauss is really strong. They get more Gauss the more that they die. Absolutely a fun unit. If you have them at a really high level, they can be really strong. Gamera 67 decks want a whole lot of swarms. This is going to be a great way to swarm. Likewise, a really good unit that's not dependent on a Gamera or anything is Rainbow Mothra. Now, right now, Rainbow Mothra is one of the premier leaders in the game. I actually don't know if they are rentable. It doesn't look like Rainbow Mothra is rentable this season. I don't know why they would be. I think they got a change, so you would assume maybe they'd be rentable, but they're not. Their leader got a change, not their unit. You could argue with me that Rainbow Mothra is an S tier. I think for sure she is. Void is going to take a little bit longer. So if the Void Ghidorah is at level 17, I don't think it's going to be able to instant kill one of your guys if they have an immunity from the Rainbow Mothra can put an immunity on your leader, which is really solid. If you're using a Gamera 67 deck, he can immune the whole team before Gamera's even out there. Just has a ton of utility, has a really solid AoE, is flying, so that's really good as well. I think Rainbow Mothra is extremely solid, definitely S tier, and if you don't think she's S tier, she's definitely top of A, or he, or whatever gender Rainbow Mothra is. I don't want to misgender the bug. S tier, for sure S tier. Waka Godzilla has to go in, I feel like, the B tier. I feel like Waka Godzilla is not very good at this juncture. Probably something like this is probably fine. They're really strong as a leader. They're not really cutting it on the field. Sorry. Super Mecha Godzilla. I like Super Mecha Godzilla. We're going to put Super Mecha Godzilla in the S tier. Super Mecha Godzilla is extremely solid. Really, really good range. The slow is good. The piercing is good. The on-spawn effect is good. A lot of people really like Super Mecha Godzilla. I like Super Mecha Godzilla. I think there's no world where he is anything other than S tier or the pinnacle of A tier. Okay. This next one is going to be a huge improvement from where they normally stand on the tier lists. And that is Old Man Jenkins' Tokyo version. Old Man Jenkins' Tokyo version is totally immune to effects. He is immune to Dimension Tide. He is immune to Sande. He is immune to Operation Taba. And he is immune to Void Ghidorah. Keyword there being immune to Void Ghidorah. He does not care if Void Ghidorah is on the field. Void Ghidorah is an effect piece, and he is immune to effect pieces. I will read you right now, actually, his kit. Let me go find Old Man Jenkins in the game, because I have the game loaded up in the background for the music, and so I can pull up the stats for the new characters. Old Man Jenkins' introduction says, on deployment, its self-destruct resistance nullifies explosive damage. It is immune to stun, slow, burning, acid, knockback, freeze, and wounded effects from enemy units. It is immune to the drawing effect by King Ghidorah 2018 Antarctic version. It is immune to the pull effect by Scar King. It is also immune to damage and effects from battle pieces such as Dimension Tide, Unmanned Train Bomb, Operation Taba. However, it is not immune to the Shinden's Compel effect. So this unit gets regularly updated when new effects come in, like freeze and wound, and also stuff for like Taba. An offensive unit that is immune to most effects and can advance without interference from enemy units. Its primary advantage is that it can continue to attack while ignoring effects such as stun and slow. It also has self-destruct resistance, so it can be deployed safely without considering timing of explosive damage. This is not immune to -1. Godzilla -1 circumvents that. That is an on-spawn explosion, on death explosion, so -1 can still damage this guy. But he's totally immune from all effects. Slows, Scar King, Void, some of the best units in the game, this guy is just completely immune to. I am hesitant to put him in the S+ tier because he, realistically, like, his stats are all right. His attack, he's an AoE, his HP and everything is all right. So I'm hesitant to put him in the S+ tier. He's definitely in the S. Like, there's no way he isn't, like, a cream of the crop right now. Like, he's really strong. I don't see a lot of people using him. Really strong unit as well still is the Shinden. I don't want to put the Shinden in the S+ tier right now. I'm going to put the Shinden in the A tier. I think Shinden's probably somewhere in the bottom of A. Shinden, I think previously we had it in the bottom of S. I think Shinden is just an A right now. Compel is a really strong effect, but the Shinden is going to die really, really easily in some of the metas right now. I mean, even with the 2 immunities. I mean, you know what? It has the 2 immunities on it. No, I don't know. Even with the 2 immunities, because it compels, Void Ghidorah goes through the immunities and the other units are going to kill him. I mean, there's been a few times this season where Shinden has messed me up. An enemy Shinden has totally messed me up, but I think that, I don't know. I think it's just probably in the A tier. I might put it in the bottom of the A tier. Maybe we revisit Shinden at a later time. Godzilla -1, I think, is S+ tier. I think there's a lot of naysayers out there for -1. I think -1 is S+ tier 100%. 100%. -1 if he's underwater avoids Void Ghidorah. -1 explosion hits the, what's his name, Old Man Jenkins alt form, even though Old Man Jenkins alt form is immune to, like, most shit in the game. It is a good way also to get damage onto Godzilla Final Wars Tokyo version, because when the explosion happens, it does not register the tier up for Final Wars. It just does the damage, and then when -1 is on the field, then Final Wars gets more powerful, so you kind of get around that. It's a good way to get around Godzilla Rio. As soon as Godzilla Rio steps in the water, you blow his ass up. And if Godzilla Rio is focused on a unit that is farther away than -1, which odds are if there's 2 units he might be, -1 is just going to run him down. Godzilla -1 stays a strong unit, stays getting good cards that work well with them, right? So -1 is going to be S+ tier for sure. I really like -1. I don't think this is biased. I mean, I am definitely biased because I'm running the gold -1, and mine -1 is almost level 30. I think mine's level 27 or something like that. -1 is really, really strong. -1 is really, really, really strong. This is a character that I'm like, yeah, you should totally invest in because I think they're going to be good for a long time. As long as water exists in this game, -1 is going to be good for sure. I use him on Tokyo. He's that good. Ginza. I like Ginza. I like -1 Ginza a lot. I'll probably put -1 Ginza maybe in the B tier this season. -1 Ginza suffers this season big time from Rainbow Mothra, for sure. Even though, you know, you would think maybe Void Ghidorah stops him, you could always heal out of that. I mean, Void Ghidorah stops everything, so I'm not going to consider it. Scar King can pull him if Scar King gets close enough. Yeah. Rio can hit him if Rio gets close enough. Sure. But this guy, Ginza's probably going to stay in your back line for 99.9% of all battles. He'd only be in the front at overtime when he walks forward, or you're placing him right in front of the enemy lead. So really, he's going to avoid most of the meta units, except for Void Ghidorah, who can hit him from anywhere, right? The problem is Rainbow Mothra has become such a good leader right now that as soon as you see that Ginza charge up, you hit the Rainbow Mothra leader ability, and then all of your units get 2 immunities. So not only do they block his hit, they also now have an extra immunity. So he's in the B tier for sure. I think he's good. I think he probably is falling off solely because of Rainbow Mothra leader, and also Rainbow Mothra on the field is really good too. So Kiryu Kai. I'm reluctant to put Kiryu Kai in the S or the S+ tier. Yes, he gets bonus points for 7+ costed units. But honestly, realistically, not a whole lot of units in the S plus tier are 7 cost. There's like one, obviously, that two, obviously, that are like really, really strong in those regards. But he might not live long enough to reach them, is the main problem. So I'm going to put Kiryu Kai in the A tier. I think that that's probably a safe spot for where he belongs. Orga. Orga got a change this season as well. Orga had his HP recovery after his revival increased by from 50% to 75%, and he increased his damage on revival from 50% increased damage to 100%. Therefore, when he would revive, 800 damage goes to what would have been 800 to 1200 damage is now 1600 damage. So instead of 50%, right, he goes up 100%. So if your Orga is doing 800 damage before he dies, after he revives, he's doing 1600 damage. Really, really good. I'm going to put Orga this season. I want to put Orga, I think, in the S almost, right? I think the only thing stopping Orga from being in S is that he can't hit flyers. So for decks like Gamera, Swarm, or just like a general use good cards deck, I think he falls a little short. I think he for sure could be a bottom of S. Let's put Orga in the bottom of S. I will put him there because he will circumvent Void Ghidorah and then get stronger. His only downside... I don't know. His only downsides is that he's a single target character and he can't hit air. But he has a huge health pool and he gets a lot of damage. I think he's maybe the top of A or the very bottom of S this season. He's also rentable, which is really in his favor. I don't know where else I would put him, other than right here or at the bottom of S. Still a lot of guys to go through. Mogera. 1990 whatever Mogera. That's gotta be in B, in the A tier unit at this point. Maybe bottom of S. If you pair him with Gamera 67, then Mogera goes to bottom of S, but honestly, I don't really know how many people are using Mogera in their Gamera 67 decks. I'm going to put Mogera in A. I'm very confident that he's at the top of A because of his synergy with Gamera. If you have Gamera on your team, he's probably in the S tier. I feel a little reluctant to place him in the S tier, though. Fukuoka Godzilla, Space Godzilla, I think is a S tier for sure. I don't know if I want to put... I'm trying to really keep the S plus tier reserved for some of the, like, way crazy units in this game. I think Fukuoka is really, really good. I think he is a S tier for sure. The crystal generation is really strong. It is good for stopping your enemies in their tracks. His chain lightning is really good as well. It hits only up to 3 units. But he can provide you a lot of cover for 6. You put him in water, like, on any of the side lanes on the Skull Island map when that was around, or Operation Watatsumi. And he's going to just generate so many crystals. That's so much ground cover for your guys. Or not ground cover, but it's just so much aerial cover for your guys. It's really hard to match that kind of output. You know, he's like a walking facility, which I really like. So he's going to go in the S tier for sure. Okay. Next. I'm going to put 1000-Year King Ghidorah in the A tier. Usually he's S tier. I think I'm going to put him in the A tier because he gets weaker when there's multiple units around him, and Gamera 67 is consistently swarming. So if you use this guy with Gamera 67, he's going to get chopped up. And then what I would consider one of the best units in the game right now, Ultima Red Dust version, totally just removes the defense up from this guy. Just totally takes it away on attack. So I think he's strong. I think he's fallen out. Wakasabe, Biolante. I had in the S tier. There's no way. There's no way Wakasabe Biolante's in the S tier. Wakasabe Biolante's got to be hitting like the B tier for sure. I mean, the heal on death is probably good if you're running against Void Ghidorahs, but it's really not a super long heal, and then your guys, I don't know. I feel like it's just, I feel like she's really good, but I feel like she could be a lot better, and I feel like in this current meta, she is not seeing a whole lot of play. So I feel like her being an S tier is probably me left her over from some season that I just totally forgot. Destroya aggregate, not aggregate, what is this? Ariake is probably like here right now in the meta. It's not good. First of all, Ariake is absolutely power crept by Godzilla Ultima, the new Ultima. And it's a little bit too complicated to use. I would even say maybe Ariake is something like this. A little bit too complicated to use right now. The nerfs really affected them in a big way. So they're down. The Chibi duo is still really good. They're just not like the best that they've ever been right now. I mean, obviously they were at the top of the meta at one point. I think the Chibi Duo are fine. I think if you have the Chibi Duo at a good level, mine are level 16, and I use them pretty reliably. I see a lot of people use them. The Compel effect is still strong. The Stun effect is still strong. Getting 2 units for 4 costs is still strong. You get Burning, you get Stuns, you get Compel. They're not as good as they were. Oh, excuse me. But they're still really solid. I like them a lot. Aquamothra, I feel like I want to put Aquamothra higher up, but I kind of feel like Aquamothra doesn't go in the A tier anymore. I feel like Aquamothra is just a little too weak to go in the A tier, but where Aquamothra really shines is in the egg modes. With a limited supply of characters and not a whole lot of things, a lot of deck restrictions, Aquamothra really does shine in egg mode. I know it's not an egg mode tier list because it's impossible to make an egg mode tier list, right? Because of all the different use cases for characters and different times that you would use them and restrictions and stuff. But honestly, I find Aquamothra extremely viable in egg mode as just like, oh, if I need to put in something and she fits the criteria or they're really good options. So I don't really think they're that good in arena at the moment, but I think they're really good in egg mode. Here's the running Godzillas, 2002 and 2003, and I think that they're like something like this. I don't think, I mean, maybe this one is better than these guys, but I don't think that the running Godzillas are good. I really don't. I think that they are fine, but Taba is going to stop them. Scar King stops them. Rainbow Mothra is stopping them. The Chibi stop them. Anything that can stun or switch up an enemy will stop them. So I don't think that they are as viable as they were. And I really don't think that they were really any viable at all to begin with. I think they've always just been alright. Yeah. Now we get an extended look at the tier list again so you can see the whole list. Kong Beast Glove. A. I really want to put Kong Beast Glove in S tier. I don't think Kong Beast Glove goes in S tier right now. I love Kong Beast Glove. I put a lot of GMATs into Kong Beast Glove. I think they're really good. The 2 immunities on spawn are really good against Void. His AoE when he jumps is really good. He also becomes immune to damage when he jumps, which is extremely important to his kit. I just don't think that he is in the S+ tier at this current juncture. I think he's really good. I don't think he is the best he's ever been. Likewise, I feel the same way about Godzilla Evolved. I think a lot of people are still using Godzilla Evolved because he is really strong. I don't know. Kong and Evolved, I think, are really, really good units. I think if they were in S, they would be like the bottom of S tier right now and like about to be phased out if they weren't already. I feel like they've been phased out of the meta, personally speaking. This is who wasn't phased out of the meta is Scar King. Scar King's so good. Scar King is still so good. They gave him like a ridiculous reach for some reason, and he's so good. Stuns, pulls guys in, you kill them, your guys all get the damage boost or whatever. Scar King is so good. I don't really need to explain Scar King to you guys. If you play this game at all, you know that Scar King is really, really good. On the opposite end of the spectrum, Shimo is not so good. Last season we had Shimo in the S tier, and I don't think that's correct. I think Shimo is fine. I think if you're going up against a Gamera 67 deck, Shimo's probably in the A tier. Maybe something like this. At the most, Shimo would be like right there. I think she's a fine unit, but I really don't see her getting a whole lot of play very often. And the times that I do, she doesn't really feel super threatening. I'm going to put her in the B, but I think you can make an argument for her going into the A tier for sure. Who's next? Flying Gamera with the stun immunity. Maybe B tier. I feel like that's probably a safe bet. I don't think that they really are in the A tier anymore. I feel like this Gamera's kind of out. They're good, but you can't. First of all, you can't get them anymore. So whatever level you have them at, that's it, unless you use G materials. I think they're just fine. Usually units that you can't get anymore kind of start moving down the list as more units come out. You can kind of see that trend here with the Kong and Godzilla and Shimo and this turtle. But you know who isn't going down? Gyron. Gearon, whatever. This has to be an S+. Like, if you have Gamera 67 on your team, it's S+. If you don't have Gamera 67 on your team, it's still an S. Like, for 3, it's just so much. It can remove buffs. He's got, like, a really good attack. He's got really good range. Gyron is really, he's going to be really good for a long time, I feel. His stats are pretty solid, and his abilities all around are really good. This is one that I'm going to say you could reliably invest in, even if you don't have Gamera 67. I think that Gyron is extremely strong. He is also not obtainable right now. So this, so far, out of the 4 S+ tier characters we have, 2 of them are just totally not in the, available right now in the game. Ride Ghidorah, I think Ride Ghidorah is halfway decent. I think Ride Ghidorah's on spawn, like Lightning Beam, is fine. And then I think that the melee attacks that they do are also okay. I think they're kind of dropping out of the meta. I mean, maybe I would even put them in the B tier. Like top of B, maybe. I think they're fine. I like them. I don't see them a whole lot, and I think they could be way better later on, but I think that for now they're probably like okay. A Godzilla that I think is just okay. Actually, this Godzilla I think has totally fallen off from where he was, and I think I had him in the A or B tier last season. I had him in the A tier last season. I'll put him in the B tier. I'm going to put him behind Super X right now, and that is the Ride Godzilla. Now, the Ride Godzilla does give a 200% crit shot to all your characters that are in his AoE when he spawns. Doesn't matter if your units have immunity. Jet Jaguar, anything that was hit with Rainbow Mothra, any of the Swarm units that were hit with Gamera 67. There's just way too much immunity running around for him to really matter at this point. I think it was a fun idea. I think if it circumvented immunity, it would be really good. Because immunity exists and because swarms are super heavy, I really don't think it's very good. Especially because it's a single target. So only one unit is getting that 200% increased shot. Unless you give that 200% increased shot to an AoE unit, but then even so, if they have an immunity, it doesn't matter. Godzilla Tower actually might be the worst unit in the game. It goes there. I think that the Anime Mechagodzilla is still a really good unit. I don't think it's in the A tier anymore. I think that the Mechagodzilla City is probably in the B tier. A lot of people try to use the Rodan 2019 to shoot it across the map. And like, yeah, if it gets across the map to the enemy leader, then it's definitely a tier up. But if you can kill it before it even reaches your side of the map, then it doesn't matter. And you're going to use Void Ghidorah on it, and you're going to probably kill it like that. And it has a shield, but I think maybe Ultima gets rid of that shield too? The new Ultima? I don't know. I don't remember. They're definitely not in the meta right now. They're falling out for sure. I think they're too slow. I think they might be a little too clunky. I think they're really, really strong if they get to the other side of the field. Maybe in overtime when you're all really close. They're one of the best units. But I think that just the current way the meta's running right now, this guy's really dropping off pretty hard. S plus tier, Void Ghidorah, for sure, needs to get nerfed. They probably just reduced the percentage on Void Ghidorah. But at level 17, Void Ghidorah, I'll just tell you. At level 17, Void Ghidorah is doing, like, basically 100% damage for all enemies. My Void Ghidorah at level 17, at Energy Charge 9, is doing 11.14 damage. And that is for 9 seconds it will do that. So if we take a calculator, for those of you who are bad at math like me, and we do 11.14 times 9, that is 100.26. So if an enemy unit does not get healed or have some kind of immunity, if they're just totally at the mercy of Void Ghidorah, he will kill every single enemy unit on the board 100% of the time, as long as they are not getting healed somehow. Starting at level 17. The higher level the Ghidorah, the stronger that, or the harder that's going to be to avoid the instant death. But his stats really do not increase more than that. I think it goes up like 0.01% every level or something like really ridiculous like that after level 17. So even like investing in Void Ghidorah from level 17 on is not a really smart move. You just let it happen naturally, right, by getting points for it. But at level 17, it's just the best unit in the game, like bar none. I'm going to put this Hedorah in the C tier. I think a lot of people really like this Hedorah, the Final Wars one. I don't think it's very good. I think this Hedorah, it just totally falls apart if it gets stunned. So, stun is pretty heavy in the meta right now. Skarking, Taba, Gigan. So, done. I like the Gotengo a lot. There's a few players like level 40, 50 Gotengos running around, and they just absolutely fucking shred me every time I meet them in battle. I'm going to put it at like the top of the B tier. I think Gotengo is really solid. I think it's hilarious if it reaches me. It can be really good in the right hands at the right levels. I think for general players, though, and the lower ranked players, it's probably not going to be super crazy. Oh, here we go. Another S plus tier unit. Godzilla Final Wars, depending on how you want to weigh it. It's either the best unit or the second best unit in the game. It's definitely the best battle. It's definitely the best unit in the game that's not an effect, because Void Ghidorah is an effect. Yeah, this dude gets stronger when he charges up, and they totally buffed him like 1 or 2 seasons ago, where it doesn't matter. Dude, he just increases like crazy. He has less time between the increases, and he's so strong. He gets like 140 fucking or 120 range or something like ridiculous. I'm not using him on my team at the moment. There's plenty of ways around him at this point. It's really difficult to get around, and I would be wrong if I said he wasn't one of the best in the game. His range at the max. So, okay. When you deploy him the first time, he's vanilla, right? When your enemy plays one unit, right? Then he goes up. His attack method changes to Heat Ray with a 200% attack power, and reach becomes 90. Also gains a stun immunity buff on the first deployment of an enemy unit. On the second deployment of enemy unit, the Heat Ray range increases to 120, which is 20 less than Rio. And all you have to do is your enemy has to place 2 units, and then when your enemy places 3 units, his attack power is increased by 30%. So at deployment level 3. Final Wars Godzilla has a 230% attack boost. He has 120 range, and he is stun immune. Best unit in the game. One of them for sure. Gamera 67. One of the best units in the game. He himself is not super powerful, although he is strong. It's what he does for other units that is really good, and that is give them immunities. Gamera 67 gives all of the 3 costs or lowers stun immunity. Or not stun immunity, a hit of invulnerability every like 6 or 7 seconds that he attacks. He has damage and range and piercing comparable to Des Ghidorah. Same kind of thing. And there's so many cards that facilitate the use of lower tiered units like that, lower energy units. There's not a whole lot of characters in this game that create an entire deck archetype based around them. He is one of these characters. He might be the only character at the moment that is doing something like that in the meta. I mean, you have things like, you used to have like explosive decks and rush decks and stuff like that. Yeah, we've had those for a long time. We've had swarm decks forever. He makes the swarm decks one of the best units in the game for sure. Him single-handedly existing in your deck takes a bunch of the units on this list and brings them up 1 whole tier, maybe even 2 tiers. Gamera 67 is for sure an S plus tier unit. There's no ifs and or buts around it. Just an incredibly strong character for sure. On the opposite end of the spectrum, the Gauss that he came with in his season fucking blows chunks. That's going in the D tier, for sure. Gigan Rex. I like Gigan Rex a lot. I think Gigan Rex is out of the meta, and I think Gigan Rex is out of the meta pretty much exclusively because of Baggin. I like Gigan Rex. I think that you could probably reliably use him. I mean, maybe Gigan Rex goes in the S tier. I still think he's really good. Baggin really stops him from being an impactful card anymore. As well as Shin Godzilla leader and Ghidorah 2019 leader. They basically just neutralize the first wave of the 2 Gigan Miles that spawn, and then the Gigan Rex is just chopped liver. But I think if you can protect him with something like Rainbow Mothra, you're in good hands. So Gigan Rex is good. I like him a lot. I think he's kind of falling out. I'm going to put him behind Godzilla Evolved because Godzilla Evolved eats them for breakfast. Fire Rodan. I think Fire Rodan, or Rodan 2019, is halfway decent of a unit. I think I previously had them in the S tier. I'm going to put him in the B tier. Because honest to God, Rodan 2019 by himself is not very good. Rodan 2019, when you pair them with a really good unit, is really good. So, like, he would be an A tier unit if you paired him up with, like, Final Wars Godzilla or Super Godzilla or something like that. But just on his lonesome, I think he's probably B tier. I think the way he attacks with the piercing and the burning is really strong. His speed is really good. But you're mostly using him for, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to use him to speed boost Super Godzilla to the other side of the map. I'm going to use him to speed boost Earth or Mecha Godzilla City or Final Wars Godzilla to the other side of the map. So he's more of a utility than he is, like, an actually good unit. Antarctic Ghidorah. I think Antarctic Ghidorah is probably in the A tier somewhere like this, maybe. Probably in, like, the lower end of the A tier, perhaps. Maybe not lower end, but maybe, like, right here at this point. Good, really good way to pull people in. I just don't think he's really worth the energy right now. I feel like he could be a lot better. I almost feel like he's, like, here. I feel like Antarctic Ghidorah is not that good. Obviously, it's all opinion-based, right? You're not going to find a tier list that's 100% factual. All tier lists are biased and opinion-based. I think that he's all right. I think that this Ghidorah is fine. I think we had him in the S tier for far too long on this channel. I think I would just put him in the A tier. He's probably right. Burning Godzilla 2019... I don't have no idea where I'm gonna put him. Maybe in the A. Maybe like here in the A tier or something like that. I mean, he's a really good unit. He will heal out of Void if they try to play Void when he's on the field. I think he's stun immune now, which is cool. He got a bunch of buffs a few seasons ago that made him, like, extremely viable. But he's still... You can't Scar King him because you're going to pull him into your own guys, and they're at least going to get 1 or 2 hits, like, big on them. I'm going to keep him in the mid-high A tier. I think that's probably a safe spot for him. He's really, really strong. I can say that pretty confidently. He's strong. A lot of you notice a trend here. A lot of the new units we're putting up in the, like, B to higher range. A lot of the old units are in the B to lower range. This one isn't, though. This is the Mothra 2024 Mothra. I don't think 2024 Mothra is good. I'm sorry. I think that they have a fine knockback or whatever, but they're not going to see any meta play in any substantial amount of time. Their stats are pretty good, and that's the only reason that they're even in the top of C tier. Here is Monkey King and his lizard girlfriend with the babies, and they're... At this current time in the arena, they are not really good. Baggin AoE chops them up. Most AoEs chop them up. Void Ghidorah kills them all. It is what it is. They're not very good. They really were never the best at anything. I think they're just fine. I actually might put them at the topper end of B tier. I think they're just fine. I don't think they're extremely solid anymore. I think they used to be really good, though. For the season that they were introduced in, at least. But the season that they were introduced in at least also brought us Rio, and I still think Godzilla Rio is an extremely good unit. Yeah, he was nerfed. He still has 150 range, and he still does that laser for 25 seconds, so it is easy to, like, avoid the Rio beam, but honest to God, like, later in the match when you get way closer, it is way more difficult to avoid that Rio, and he still fucking cuts it up. Still an S+ tier. Not the best unit in the game. Absolutely a fucking monster, especially for the people who invested a lot into Rio before he got nerfed. Disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. Debated putting this in the S+ tier. I think he goes in the S tier. Both of these do. I'm gonna just skip ahead to Ebera. Varan and Ebera are really, really good. I might actually just put Ebera in the A tier. Maybe something like this in the A tier for Ebera. Only because Ebera... You know what? I'm gonna do this, actually. Ebera's gonna go in the S+ tier. Both of these are S tier. For sure. They are 4 costs, which is really cost efficient, and they both have a ton of really fun things that go along with them. Ebera hides in the water, so if they use Void Ghidorah, right, it doesn't take damage when Void Ghidorah is happening, and it being in the water also does not proc Final Wars, which is good. Then if Ebera is in the water, they have, what, like 90 range or something ridiculous like that? They have really high range. No, I'm sorry. Their search range is 110 and their reach is 110. They stay underwater for 20 seconds. Let me read the water one. In the water, it's attack with long range thrown stones with a reach of 110. Switches to pincers if a ground unit enters melee range in the water. When this character is doing melee attacks, it's not very good. When they are in the water, it is extremely good for 4-drop. I like Ebera a lot. I like Varan a lot. Varan also does what does Varan do? Defense down or something like that when he drops from the sky, which also circumvents Void and Final Wars. They don't proc until he makes like contact with the ground, and he does a attack down. Right on deployment, reduces the attack power of enemy nearby units by 20% for 20 seconds. So that is he basically has like access to 75% of the map. You can place him as a body blocker. You can place him as a utility to defense down. He can't hit air. Ebera can hit air only in water. Both of them have extremely good utility use in this current season. I think they're both S tier, bottom of S tier. Definitely above some of these units, and I think a lot of more inexperienced players or newer players will be like, well, how could they possibly be above Gigan Rex or Kong, Beast Glove, or Godzilla Evolved? And it's utility. Just amazing utility on them. Really great ways to circumvent some of the better units in the game right now. Super strong, and if anything, you know what, maybe Ebera goes in the A tier because he has to switch up his attack modes, and if he's on land, he's not as worth it. You know what, I even do this for you. You know, if you're gonna make an argument like that, I'll put Ebera like here in A tier, because if he's on land, he's almost useless. If he's in water, he's fucking amazing. He's S tier in water, A tier on land. Varan does the same thing no matter where he is, so Varan will stay in the S tier. S tier unit again, Godzilla 1991. I think Godzilla 1991 is an extremely strong unit because he has really good range, he has really good damage, he has really good health. His attacks avoid immunities. I can't remember if he's single target or piercing. I think he's piercing. But if there's an immunity, he goes around them. And you know what's really, really strong right now? Put him like right here, even. Gamera and Rainbow Mothra. They're throwing around immunities left and right, and this guy does not care. He totally just chops them up. He's a little... I don't think he's quite S+ tier. I think if you have a high enough level one, definitely is. But I think he's able to chop it up with the most meta units for sure. He might just be in S+ tier like this or something. I think he's really, really strong right now. Not a lot of people are using him because he is a more relatively new character within the last, like, what, 3 or 4 months? Last 4 months, right? So it's this month, next month, 2, 3, 4... 4 months ago they dropped him, maybe 5 months ago they dropped him. I think he's really good. I still think he's really, really good, and he's definitely in the S tier somewhere for sure, maybe like this or something. The Bat Moth duo I think is A. I think they're really good. I think that they have a little bit weaker health than normal, but they heal. Having that heal constantly with the Mothra is really good. Their AoE is really good. I think just together, they're really, really strong characters. Maybe I'd even put them maybe behind Godzilla Evolved because he eats them for breakfast. But I think the Moth Duo is incredibly strong. I think if you have them at a decent enough level, you can use them pretty comfortably. They do get pieced up by the S tier units, but it's fine because they're pretty good against most general use, especially against Gamera decks where there's a lot of swarms. And if they target the same character, they do a big AoE, so it works out. S plus tier Baggin. Maybe like right here. Absolutely phenomenal. Baggin is so good. The chain lightning all the way through is really, really something to behold. He can cheat hits on the enemy leader. Swarm decks, he's going to run through swarm decks. He chains up to 5 targets. So he's got pretty fast attack speed too. So like 2.4 seconds or something like that. And he's just going to like laser knock everyone down. Laser knock everyone down. Yeah, if the timing is wrong, the Gamera will like get his immunes back before Baggin gets his other attack. And you're like this infinite loop until they kill Baggin. But realistically, Baggin is amazing. If your enemy's units are all staggered out, Baggin might actually be able to reach them. I don't remember what variation of Tokyo it is. Nighttime, where the buildings are arranged in a certain way. Is it Tokyo? Is it New York? Where the buildings are arranged in a certain way that he can chain the lightning to reach across the map. And I don't remember what it is, what map it is. But he can do he's really good. Baggin's really good S plus tier. That's all you need to know. Super Godzilla, I'm gonna put in the S tier. He was in S plus. I'm gonna put him in S. He's still extremely strong. His healing ability is really good. His damaging ability, like the damage up he gives himself is crazy. The healing he gives himself is crazy. He's probably the best single target attacker we have in the game. But he's definitely falling down into the S tier from S plus because there's so many immunities. There's so many immunities going around this season that he's just going to get beat up. He is still really good, so I'm going to keep him in the S tier instead of putting him in the A. But he's going to crumble against Swarm decks this season, and then Rainbow Mothra is definitely not going to make it easy for him either to do what he wants to do. Chibi Shobujins, or I guess in this game they're just the Shobujins, they also had a change this season. And this is the last unit that had a change this season. That isn't a leader, and they had their HP AoE effect increased by 47.9%. So what would have been 600 shields is now 888 shields, hypothetically. So Rick the Squirrel sent me a picture of his at level 3. They did 355 shields for 45 seconds, or for 45 range, sorry, or meters. And now they do 525 at 45 meters. They're alright. I mean, the Chibi Chobujin, we had them in the C tier last season. Oh, I'm sorry. I think they also now affect leaders. Let me go look at them in the game. Hold on. Introduction. On use grants allied units within range of HP shield. This also applies to leaders or facilities. I think it used to not apply to leaders or facilities. I would say that the Chibi Shobujins are not... They used to be C tier. I think the Chibi Shobujins are probably in the lower end of A tier this season. If you have them at a high level, that is a lot of extra health to be giving. If you don't have them at a high level, they're almost not worth using. However, Void Ghidorah is meta. They will stop a Void Ghidorah at level 17 from 100% killing your guys because they give more health for the Void Ghidorah to get through. So they can provide you a little bit of leeway. They are rentable this season as well, which is going to account for why they are in the A tier. I think maybe normally they would be in the B tier. They are rentable this season, so they'll go in the A. I think if you have them at a low level, they're not worth using. I think if you have them at like 15 or higher, you're probably good to go. I think that's just how it's going to shake up. Because they're not a continuous heal, they're a one-time infusion of health to leaders, facilities, and your characters, which is a really big boost. So, I think that this is probably a good spot to be in with them. The King Ghidorah with the wound, the Grand King Ghidorah is probably somewhere in the A tier, I think. I think the wound effect is really good. I think that this King Ghidorah in particular is just okay. Does that make sense? Like, he's really carried exclusively by the wound ability, and as soon as another character gets added with wound, he's gonna drop out. Because, like, wound makes the enemies, or you deal increased damage to an enemy unit or something like that. Let me reread it. When enemy units are 50% or higher, it launches fan-shaped attacks that inflicts wound on enemy units for 15 seconds. However, this attack cannot inflict wound on leaders. So cannot put wound on leaders. When enemy units are under 50% increased HP, it launches a linear attack with 45% increased attack power. Cool. While inflicted with wounded, additional damage will be triggered whenever damage is taken. Damage from status effects like burning and acid will not trigger additional damage. So it does let you trigger additional damage. It does have a 45% boost. Maybe I'll put him like above the 1000-Year Dragon Ghidorah for utility. But I think once more characters with wound get added, he will go out of A tier, I think. He's pretty solid if you have him, but I don't think he's one of the best in the game. Rainbow Mothra is really good. Or not Rainbow, what is this? Armored Mothra is really good as well. Single target attacker. Will rush across the board to do massive damage to your guys or your enemies. I'm trying to think of how I want to go about talking about him. He's really good. He's really, really, really good. If you stun him or if you have swarms, he just gets him stopped. Right? Like, he has damage immunity, or not damage immunity, he has defense up when he is doing the, like, running, like, rushing to an enemy unit, he has defense up. If you have Scar King, you stop him from doing anything, and then you bring him closer to your guys, and then he no longer has a defense up because he's, like, right in front of their face. He was pretty much made, I believe, to be a Rio counter, and now that Rio is kind of out of the meta, but he's still really meta viable, not as many people are running him. Armored Mothra is not as good. I think Armored Mothra is probably, realistically, an A tier unit. Maybe the top end of A, honestly. It's hard. Once you get to, like, the tops of A and then S and S+, it's hard to organize them in a meaningful way. Top of A, bottom of S for sure for Armored Mothra. I think Armored Mothra is really good. I think if you have a high-level Armored Mothra, that's really, really scary. I think there's just a lot of ways to stop Armored Mothra from doing what it wants to do. Anguirus singular points, probably. I think I had him in the B tier last season because Rendable. And Rio was around. Realistically, I think he's like a C tier unit. I think singular point Anguirus had a lot of potential. And I think that if there's, other really long range characters that get added, eventually Anguirus will go back up. There's something about him I cannot place. I have not been able to place it for a couple of seasons. What is wrong with singular point Anguirus? And I think it's he does not have a whole lot of HP. He can reflect a lot of damage back, but he doesn't do it for very long, right? He doesn't have a whole lot of HP, so if they're hitting him for damage outside of his effect zone, then he's taking a lot of damage, and he only deals the damage back if he's between 50 and 100 meters of a target. But 2 units in the S+ have a attack range of 110 or more, right? Or 100 or more. Final Wars is 120 range, and what's his name? Rio is 140, and then Scar King's whip is like 120 or something like that. So 3 of the top units in the game can outdo the Anguirus. Yeah, Anguirus needs more health, and that thing to just, instead of that damage increase being within a range, it just needs to be always. If he gets attacked with a ranged attack at any point in time, like, he needs to be hit with a ranged attack from 30 meters or higher, and he reflects it. And then I think it would be good and increases health. Shin Godzilla Orthopedic Tempur-Pedic version, I think is probably an A tier unit. It's probably something like at the top of A. Really good stats, really good HP damage, and he's always proccing that AoE. He hits double time with his head and the tail. I think he's really good. I think Shin Godzilla Ortho is really good. This is the Shin Godzilla that people have been wanting and people have been waiting for ever since they introduced the original Shin Godzilla. I think he's in the top of A. I don't know where else I would put him. Conversely, the new Gamera is not good. The new Gamera, maybe I would place it with Anguirus in the C tier, honestly. He was B tier last season, probably because he was rentable. I would put the new Gamera in the C tier. It's cool that he comes in and does 3 hits, like boom, boom, boom. And then I think he has a knockback when he attacks, but he really is weak. He feels super weak. Deals 3 damage in a straight line with head-on range attacks. And then when he's attacking, he inflicts knockback. And then when he dies, he does a damage in a line to the enemy leader. I mean, maybe we make an argument for him being like here in the B tier, like kind of on the bottom end of B tier, this Gamera. He's fine. I mean, he's not very viable. I mean, he kind of sucks. I really don't want to put him in the B tier. I feel like everyone in the B tier kind of at least has some kind of use in the meta at some point, but this guy just dies. I mean, if he gets onto the other, if he gets close enough to the enemy leader and he hits that beam, right, it'll hit the enemy leader. If there's any enemy stuck in that beam, it'll hit them. But like, I really don't think just because he has that beam and some knockback, he's really good. The knockback also doesn't really matter too much with the most of the meta units, because this guy's range is 75 is his search, his reach is 72. I think every single character in the meta has range over 80. Scar King's is different because he can pull people in. I think maybe back in a 75, I don't know. Gyra might also be a little low. Fuck it. The best characters in this are definitely outdoing that, so I think he's whatever. I think he's just whatever. Flip side of that coin, I think that Legion is really, really strong, man. I think Legion's really good. I don't know where I would put Legion in A tier. I don't think Legion goes in S. I think Legion goes in A. Legion goes A tier for sure. She comes in with one hit of immunity on her, so she'll herself avoid a level 17 Void Ghidorah, and then she spawns in a bunch of little guys. The bunch of little guys, maybe I even put her in the S tier, but I feel like A is probably appropriate. The bunch of little guys are going to circumvent Final Wars Godzilla. They are going to dance around Rio as well, and they're going to trip up Scar King. They will all die to Void Ghidorah. Gamera 67 has piercing, so he can hit multiples at a time. Baggin will chain them up. And then -1 can blow up a bunch of them at a time. Yeah, they can circumvent a lot of the best units in the game, but once she is on her own, and then she has reduced health, and then she has like that shotgun ability, I don't know. I don't think it's very good. She's for 7 cost is a lot, but what she does is I don't think I could possibly make her less than 7. Honestly, I would rather make her be an 8 cost, and the soldiers like are way stronger. I would like that a lot too. I think she's A tier. I think in certain decks and scenarios, she probably is S tier. I just, for whatever reason, I just feel like she probably doesn't go in the S tier. I feel like she's high A, bottom S, if anything. So I think it's like a good spot for her. Maybe she goes here because she fucks up Armor Mother too. Maybe this is the appropriate way to mix them up. Burning Godzilla. The new Burning Godzilla is fine. Let's just hold on. I need maybe move this like this. The new Burning Godzilla is fine. I had him in the A tier last season. I think this season no, he's an A. He's A tier for sure. I'm gonna put the new Burning Godzilla like right here behind Thermo. He gets stronger as the battle goes on, and the more guys that you have that die, he gets stronger faster. So if you put him in a Gamera 67 deck and all those little guys are dying, he gets all those procs. Legion's guys die, he gets those procs. Any of your guys, I mean, he's good. He does 5 explosions on every time he attacks when he's at the max meter, and he gets the max meter passively in your hand. He's the only character in this game that their abilities charge while they're in your hand. Technically, Void Ghidorah isn't charging up in your hand. You're just playing it at a different level. This guy's abilities actually change depending on his bar, and the bar changes while it's in your hand. So I like him a lot. He's probably in the mid A tier at this point. Now we have the new units. We're an hour and a half in, and we're getting to the new units on this tier list. So, Mothra Cocoon is who I have first. Mothra Cocoon is a 3 cost with 30-second expiration time until it hatches, and then it gets a Mothra out. The Mothra has 2-second attack speed, 60 range, 50 reach. It can target leader ground aerial facilities, 18 movement speed, and then it has a on deployment range attack. So, unique behaviors. When deployed in a cocoon state, it will not attack or move. Summons a Mothra Imago 1961 when it expires, or after a certain amount of time. Passes. On deployment, it deals damage and knockback to surrounding enemy units. When attacking, it deals damage and knockback in a forward circular attack 3 times. Since it unleashes 3 successive attacks, it deals damage equal to 3 times its attack to enemy units. A support unit that is deployed as a cocoon that summons Mothra on expiration. Although the cocoon cannot attack or move, it is highly durable and can draw enemy attacks. With its successive forward circular attack that causes knockback, Mothra is effective at supporting allied units. Guess how much this thing costs? 3. Guess what it fits in? Gamera Swarm decks. Really fucking good for those two. The Mothra Cocoon absolutely is... it's gotta be in the A tier this season. Like, for sure. It's gotta be, like, in the upper tiers of A. Like, there's no way it's not. I'm reluctant to say it's S tier. If it had Compel on it, I would put it in S tier, but it doesn't. So you can whiff the Cocoon. But you also can get really great placements with the Cocoon. You can place it about halfway up the map. So you can place it for 3 and it just like buys you a lot of time. The Mothra that comes out of it is really good. It has like a little bit of knockback when it pops out of the Cocoon, and then it does a bunch of damage when it comes out. It just does not have a whole lot of health. The damage is good, the on-spawn is good, doesn't have a lot of health, so it's going to die pretty quickly. If you don't have a team there to support it when it hatches, it's dying. Like, it's not killing anything, it's dying, for sure. But it's really good distraction. Really, really solid. We have a lot of really good gameplay with it on this channel in the video review for it and the stream that we did at the beginning of the month. Check that out if you want more gameplay of it. I like the Cocoon. The Peanut's really good. Best unit this season, maybe one of the best units in the game right now, Godzilla Ultima Scarlet Dust version, or Ultima, as with the ALT, as affectionately as people are talking about him. Godzilla Ultima is 100% a S tier unit. Like, this is easily, like, pushing the upper echelons of the S tier, especially because it's rentable this season, especially. So, Godzilla Ultima... one of my favorite Godzillas is Ultima. So having an Ultima in the S+ tier again warms my heart. 2.4 second attack speed, 90 search range, 85 reach, tax, leader, ground, aerial facilities, 10 movement speed, and then has multiple effects. So, on deployment, applies an effect on all surrounding enemies that increases damage taken by 35%. When it spawns in, it's doing that. Alright, when attacking, if the target does not have an effect that increases damage taken, applies an effect that increases damage taken by 35% for 5 seconds. Once the effect that increases damage is applied, it can only be applied again after 5 seconds has passed. A support unit that applies an effect over a wide area that increases damage taken. It is effective when it can attack from behind a vanguard of allied units with high HP. When working with allied group units and units with fast attack speed, it can defeat even stronger enemy units. Okay. This thing is constantly, I mean constantly, emitting a defense down boost. This is just a better version of Destroyer Ariake. For those of you who were around in February of 2024, when Destroyer Ariake was around, this is a way, way better version of Destroyer Ariake. Because Destroyer Ariake, to get that defense down, yeah, you attack twice and you like defense down, and then you have a really big hit after. But Destroyer Ariake could only do that if the enemy that it's attacking was not looking at Ariake. Ultima Dust version doesn't give a fuck who's looking at him or where they are. Every attack he's hitting is that effect. If they have the effect on them, he cannot apply it again. When the effect goes away, I think he has to wait 5 seconds, right? He's constantly emitting the effect from his body. Units that get close to him are going to get absolutely dumpstered by the dust. It is just around him passively. I've been using it all season. Mine's rented at level 20. He fucking cleans up. I have it at level 5 because I use some G materials. Depending on what is revealed next season, if next season's units are really good or they're just okay, I'm gonna just dump 15 G-mats into this guy and bring him to like, or a 10 at least, and bring him to level 15. Like, he's that good. I might put 15 into him, bring him to level 20. Like, he is that good. Scarlet Dust version of Ultima is insane. I'm pairing him with the regular Ultima, and the two of them are ridiculous, dude. Like, they have 85 reach on one of them, 90 on the other, so if the enemy gets hit with the defense down, guess what? Both of these motherfuckers are chopping them up. I mean, my Ultima is level 20, the rentable one, and his attack is 956. Okay, cool. The enemy's taking 35% more damage. Like, what? Ridiculous. So, S tier, S+ tier, easy. Easy, 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 easy. Operation Taba, I feel like is not S+ tier, but this season is definitely in the S range. I'll put Operation Taba like right here or something. Operation Taba is really strong. I know a lot of people don't like it. At high levels, it's crazy, like what it can do. Let me go back. Rick the Scroll sent me a picture of level 36 Operation Taba. So let me read you what Operation Taba does, and then I'll show you, and then I'll read you that picture. So, Operation Taba, 4 cost. Range damage is 196, is stuns for 1.2 seconds, and its effect range is 60 by 180, so it is 60 meters long and 180 meters wide. It covers 2 whole rows on the map. On use, deals range damage in 2 horizontal rows. The first attack inflicts stun, then damage is dealt 9 times over a certain amount of time. However, this does not affect leaders, so the stun and damage will not be applied to them. Fine. On offense, an offensive effect battle piece that inflicts stun and deals damage a total of 10 times in 2 horizontal rows. It has a wide range of uses from supporting allied units on the front line to depleting attack nullification effects. Very good this season. Be aware, however, that it's completely ineffective against leaders. Fine. Okay. It deals 216 damage over those 10 hits, right? Mine, or the level 36, or level 38 one, right? 216 over 10 hits. Bro, that is a ton of damage because you're going to multiply that by 10. We're going to take the calculator out again for everyone who's bad at math like me. So at level 38 Operation Taba with 20, it has 216 range damage. We'll multiply that by 10, and that is 2,160. I guess I could have just fucking put a 0 on the end of it. 2,160 damage. Really good. Really, really, really good. That is providing, of course, you have a insanely stupid high level Taba, which you might not. I still think, even if you don't have high level on it, it's still really good. You can, it's 4 cost, you can get that lower with Ultima. You can stun people up with it. You can take all those immunities away. It's really good for Gamera Swarm decks because you can just take the immunities away. You'll probably end up killing maybe 1 or 2 guys. Really solid there. The stuns are good. It might buy you some time to deploy their units, and stuns, we've talked about, are really strong right now in the meta. So that's my ranking for Taba. I'm putting in the S tier. I kind of feel like I maybe want to put it at the top of A or maybe the bottom of S almost, but I feel like that it is really good. I'll put it in the top of the S for now because it's rentable. It is the double rent, so it's like way stronger than it normally is. So yeah, this is the tier list for season whatever the hell we're in of Godzilla Battle Line, the July 2025 season of Godzilla Battle Line. I think comfortable making this the tier list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one way more than the last one. I have taken an hour and a half of my life to totally reconstruct our tier list from scratch. So let me know what you guys think about it. I think this more accurately reflects the meta we are currently in. I think there are some exceptions, and those are maybe for some newer units like Super Godzilla, you know, or the new units that came out this season. Maybe Mothra should be higher. Maybe Legion should be higher. Who knows? It's all opinion based. It's just based on what I'm seeing in the arena. I play a lot of games at Battle Line. I know a lot of Battle Line strategy. This is how I'm currently viewing the meta. So let me know what you think down below, if you think this is a fair tier list or not. And I will catch you all on the next one. Bye-bye.